Today, we're going to be talking about digitizers. Now, what's a digitizer? A digitizer is something that takes an analog signal, whether it's light, sound, touch, or writing, and converts it into a digital format so that it can be stored electronically. Now, what's a tablet? Graphic or drawing tablets replace the need for classic pen and paper with a stylus and a receiving unit. Graphic tablets are prime examples of a wide-scale digitizer. At the most simplest of levels, a tablet takes the input, whether it's the position, angle of tilt, pressure from a stylus pen, it can either be a capacitive, a Wacom style digitizer, or Bluetooth, and transmits that to the computer it's attached to for drawing, note-taking, or just for general mouse replacement. More expensive ones have LCD screens built in that let a user look at a tablet and draw to mimic the feel of drawing on paper. Although that's something that's really not required, as plenty of fantastic artists are able to use non-screen tablets just fine. Tablets have come a long way since the clay squares the Mesopotamians and the Mississippian culture used. I don't know if either culture actually used them, but f you, it's my video. While not a graphics tablet by modern definition, the teleautograph was the first electronic handwriting device. It was patented by Elisha Gray in 1888 and would transmit the handwriting and drawings from one device to another like device on the opposite end. Like the telegraph, but for handwriting. This still exists today in some sort of shape in the forms of the all-point pen, which is used for voting, and the auto pen, which is used for automatic signature signing for celebrities, politicians, and others. Fancy that, they're not actually handwriting your autographs. Sorry. The first graphic tablet was the Stylator, created by Tom Diamond in 1957. Its purpose was to recognize the characters written down on the tablet by the stylus pen and translate that to computer characters. Not a whole lot of info out there on this, probably because it was overshadowed by the RAND tablet, created by the RAND Corporation, is considered to be the first graphics tablet that most people can look at and say, yeah, that's a drawing tablet. It had a whopping 10-inch by 10-inch drawing area. The total desk area, though, was 24 by 24 inches. With about 100 lines per inch, it had over 1 million points it could convert an analog signal to digital. Upgraded. The stylus had a click switch that would register the signal of its position to the tablet, which then sent it to the computer to plot. It could take notes, draw diagrams. It was pretty impressive for the time. The RAND also had 40 external connections for hooking up. There's no good pictures, but they were probably similar to an ATX power supply cable. So the next time you're hunched over your chair, furiously unplugging and replugging your Syntec, trying to get your computer to recognize the drivers for the third time that day, at least it's a single cable. Also, when you put a Syntec 22 next to it with its 5,080 lines per inch and a 21.5 inch drawing area, there's a difference. While there may be an argument that extremely high lines per inch eventually bleed into just being used for bragging rights, that's besides the point. What's not beside the point is the cost of a Syntec 22, which is around $1,200. Oh yeah, did I mention how much a RAND tablet cost? $18,000 in 1963. If you bought that now, it will cost you $166,891.76. Yeah, that might have been part of the reason why it didn't take off back in the 60s. And the fact that Photoshop, Sci, or CSP wasn't invented yet. But it was a step in the right direction, honestly. Progress. About a decade later, in the very early 1970s, came the next evolution, I guess? It was still a tablet, but it used sound to locate the position of a stylus over the drawing area. A spark plug generated a little click when held over the drawing area, and the difference in timing recorded by the various microphones around the tablet calculated the position of the stylus. Definitely an interesting advancement. Can't blame them. Now, what one might consider the start of a modern tablet might just be the BitPad created by the Summa Graphics Corp in the 1975-ish area. They sold the digitizers to many different companies such as Tektronix, HP, Apple, and others. On top of the new Intel microprocessors being used to boost the stylus locating accuracy, it also cost significantly less than the other tablets being sold at the time. Around $500 for the BitPad versus the others selling for somewhere around $2,000 and $3,000. In today's money, that's around $2,600 versus $10,500 to $10,800. Yeah, still a shit ton of money. but nowhere near as bad as how much the RAND cost a decade before. While still being pretty expensive for the average consumer, they were certainly useful for companies that dabbled in the computer-aided drafting skill tree. So instead of buildings looking like this, we can finally have buildings that look like this. After that, in 1979 came the release of the Apple Graphics tablet. This was made for the Apple II computer and was actually helped design by musician Todd Rundgren, the software at least. Unfortunately for Apple, this tablet had to be discontinued when the FCC found out that it caused radio interference with other devices. Probably not the best thing to put up in an FAA tower, FYI, just a hunch. After that, they went right back to the drawing board for a second try at this, and they were able to come out with a second iteration in time for the Apple IIe computer. Good job. In 1981 came the next advancement in ent-saving technology, and that was the Quantel Paintbox, produced by, you guessed it, Quantel, which I guess they're now a part of Grass Valley. What the fuck kind of company name is that? This was the first of its kind tablet coming in with actual pressure sensing technology. Actually, to just call it a tablet is a bit of a misnomer because it was actually an entire fucking workstation. This was an entire unit and really was only bought and used by TV broadcast stations because it cost $2,500,000 in 1980s money, which is around $780,000 in 2022 money, which is also around 49,000 units of Cottontail 2-ply 12-roll pack. Fun fact. Regardless, it basically revolutionized the creation of TV graphics. A little while later, a more affordable model came out, but it still costs around $100,000. The next major graphics tablet available for home consumer use is probably the KoalaPad in 1983. It was used in conjunction with the Apple II, IBM PC, the Commodore 64, and what the fuck the TRS-80 color computer was. It had a drawing area of roughly 4 inches by 4 inches and actually came with a drawing software called Koala Painter mostly. Koala Paint for the Apple II PC, and creatively called PC Design for the IBM PC. Real big brain name there, IBM. Funny enough, the undo button in Koala Painter was called the oops function, which I'm sad didn't stick around in current times. I can just imagine some anime artists furiously mashing Control Z while muttering oops, 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 oops because they didn't make the chin pointy enough. It wasn't until the 1990s that saw the rise of everyone's favorite and probably simultaneously the same name that cursed under their breath when they see the newest model drop for $5,000, Wacom. Though we wouldn't really see the explosion of new drawing tablets from different companies until probably around the 2010 area. And with my non-artist knowledge of the technological progress of tablets, the gap between Wacom and other companies wouldn't be as close as it is until probably around 2019. It's not an unknown fact that Wacom basically pioneered the technology that drives the current day tablets. From being the company that powered the creation of Beauty and the Beast to being the technology that helped then President Bill Clinton sign the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which wasn't the only pen he was using on something new. They pioneered and patented their EMR pen technology, which stands for electromagnetic resonance. Basically, a layer of sensors arranged in a grid sit behind an LCD screen that emit a weak electromagnetic signal. This extends beyond the LCD screen, and the provided pen receives this signal, which in turn powers the pen and provides tilt, pressure, and button click data back to the tablet. Because of this signal, the pen doesn't need to be powered by a permanent or removable battery or doesn't need to be charged. Active electrostatic, AES, on the other hand, relies on a power source that's in the pen to send data to the tablet. Basically, the tablet has sensors arranged in a point-based system instead of a grid. These receive location, tilt, pressure, and button data from the pen and makes that into meaningful data for the computer to process. This is sort of how phones pick up the touch of a human finger, since we have a very weak electromagnetic field. We're kind of like Magneto, except the Kids Bop version. Now we flash forward to 2022 and there's not all that much of a difference between tablets nowadays. Whether it's something by Wacom, Huion, XP Pen, or if you get a multi-purpose iPad or Microsoft Surface, an artist really can't go wrong with most choices anymore. There's just so much to choose from. Christ, you want a tablet without a screen? Shit, there's 5 million of them in different sizes and different amount of buttons on them. Oh, you want one that has a screen? Sure. No problem. Here's a dozen of them for you. Oh, that's right. Did you want one that's a standalone unit entirely? Or did you want one that you have to plug into a computer? Sure, there'll be differences with pressure resolution or lines per inch or the color gamut of a screen tablet, but realistically, all of them can be used to create masterpieces in the right hands. Neither of which hands are mine. It's just going to be a difference if you're willing to spend $1,500 or maybe $800. So set your budget, do some research, and see what other people are saying about this tablet or that Syntec, and then just fucking send it, dude. Just do it. Just do it. That's what I'm trying to, just create, just send it. Besides, no matter what brand or what LCD screen you choose, you're gonna have to deal with fucking shit drivers.